Okay. Oh my God, we got the lore. Look, here's the deal with the
This
Razageth.
is very I've got a very good TLDR there. So
He's got a good TLDR. We do have the ending of things. I mean, spoilers. Razageth is defeated at the end.
Wait, we killed the boss of the raid.
We killed the boss of the raid. The other three, though, do they break free. We have some great facial expressions from Khadgar.
Really nice.
From Kael'gos. Yep, these in-game cinematics, these pre-rendered ones and the in-game ones, they're all just getting better and better and better with their ability to tell the story of Warcraft within Warcraft, which we like. And then in the posts sort of thing, it's like Razageth. She's very bitter.
What do we do? Yeah.
Because of all the imprisonment and everything, and
Also, she's lightning, so she's fast.
Oh yeah. Nosdormu's like, what the man? These time ways be crazy. I'm
Still can't see
confused.
them.
Look at him. Look how confused he looks.
Yeah.
Also, what moisturizer?
Yeah.
Is I mean, at least she gets to have some freckles.
It's called diffuse lighting. Yeah.
But he is a bizarre, actually Swotor skin looking guy.
Yeah, sure is.
And people have it's like him especially that people have brought up. So anyway, that's a bit of a random point to be sure.
I think the just a little bit of the time waste stuff being obscured. It's like that is literally them going. Nosdormu is supposed to be able to see what happens. We just have to remind people at every step that that would destroy our plot. So we have to turn that off. We have turned Nosdormu off through shut up. It's fine, basically, because someone who can see
what's dogma.
Someone who can see what's going to happen is just. That will break your story. So you have to turn that off through means.
I don't think they're necessarily doing it in the form of a massive retcon, because at the end of the day...
Oh, it's not at all. It's literally just, it's weird timey stuff. Shut up, our plot wouldn't work.
He believes that there's a true timeline.
Yeah.
The Titans believe there is a true timeline. Obviously, that is not the only perspective. So... We see the other ones be freed. Iridikron is big warmonger. He's the strongest of them. He struck terrible bargains. The other incarnates do not know the true depths of his depravity. Yes. So did he, strike a bargain with the old gods or something like that? Is there going to be a parallel between the primalist of Earth and the aspect of Earth?
Really?
My God.
I don't know. That's maybe not a point later on. I think Kael'gos just basically more than just goes, we have to fight them now while they're away hiding and regaining their power, not been as hasty as Razageth. And then everyone goes, together, and it's all like voice nicer, I guess.
Yep. And the together, while it is a bit cliche, also does make me think, which is probably something that you're going to cover in the What's Next segment, they're probably going to unite Dragonkind.
Yep, they are.
I think we're going to defeat Iridikron, but the other two primalist aspects, or maybe at least one of them, I wouldn't be surprised if some form of understanding was came to, and I think that would probably make for some good story. Overall then, Iridikron will have allies in the Jaredine Elders, we think. Iridikron being worse than the others is also quite interesting. I mean... Who knows? Does Iridikron just go full hungry hippo?
Yeah, I'm thinking he'll eat one or two of them.
These
no one join.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
There's he'll eat Fyrak, or he'll eat the ice one, and then Fyrak will join us because Fyrak's voiced by Matt Mercer. Or so I saw someone say in chat earlier.
Okay, that's purged from my memory banks.
Did you know that your voice acting casting decisions can be spoilers? No.
We then have the Bronze Infinite stuff. That is relevant because of the whole, silver, basically that. I think it's like Renown 11 or 12 with Valdrakken that you get that storyline where Tyr's... So essentially, we are able to make a new vessel for Tyr, but Tyr's memories are cast into the Timeways in the Ultiman Dungeon. Now, this is some weird 3D printing thing. Like, come on, it's the Titan Keepers. We've always, known what they're made of.
Yeah.
It's Tyr's memories. I would believe then that, it's not the same Tyr. Say in Battlestar Galactica, when Caprica 6 dies and she wakes up, she's not just another Model 6, or, another number 6 with Caprica 6's memories. She is the consciousness of Caprica 6 is back, so it's a through line of consciousness.
They will probably treat it as if it is Tyr.
They probably will, but I think that there would be a fun melancholic, whatever, side to things where we have this Tyr who, you know, it's like this is the brain of Tyr, this is the memories of Tyr,
not the soul,
but a new soul of Tyr, and this Tyr can almost be like, you know, he says but I has more tragedy behind it than when most beings say it. At least that's what I would do for storytelling, but also I do think about, you know, when Jim Kirk goes through the transporter, or whenever Tilk goes through the Stargate, like, we know that a Tilk comes out the other side.
Nah, Stargates are wormholes, okay. Are they not?
Bruh. See, Matt has been watching these Chinese cartoons.
Yeah.
I believe they're called.
Yeah.
And talking with his fellow weeaboos on the 4chan for all these years. And it means that he has only watched science fiction that involves large robots and philosophy. Funny enough, my favorite sci-fi does involve regular-sized robots and philosophy in Battlestar, so I think we can get along.
Stargates are just wormholes.
Oh, they are wormholes.
Yeah.
But the wormhole completely, like, you know, you're fucking atomized and then recombined at the other end.
Oh.
Because the wormholes, they're not like natural wormholes. They are ones made by the, you know, the ancients, who are the same people who built the city of Atlantis in, you know, in the other galaxy in Stargate, Atlantis. And then, of course, they come back as the Ori whenever, you know, fucking sexy, kinky lady arrives late in the season. Vala? I only say sexy, kinky lady because, I mean,
that's how they're coded.
That is definitely how she's portrayed, and it's quite fun, and you get to watch Daniel Jackson reactions.
Those are the best parts.
Stargate.
God, Daniel Jackson.
Right. If I can, I know it might be too much Christopher Judge, but if we can have Amazon bringing back Stargate and God of War, and you know what? Fuck it. Christopher Judge, let's have him portray... Okay, I would want real Tilk to come back over God of War. But
of course you would.
I mean...
You have taste.
It's like, just because Kratos is like a white dude, and, you know, it's like...
A what?
Like Kratos, you know, fucking... You know the thing with, like, Darth Vader? It's like, it's your man James Earl Jones's voice, and then, you know, the helmet comes off, and he's just like, I'm a crusty white dude. So, you know, people would be like, oh, Kratos is like nah, fuck it. Fuck it. Fucking Christopher Judge is Kratos. Enough of this bullshit. You know, the people fucking, they see a casting decision, they bring out the fucking Pantone color chart and get all weird. Maybe Pantone have, you know, priced them out of having a color chart now that Pantone have been ridiculous.
Yeah, I was going to say, Donuts is the point. Just when someone says Kratos is white and they, you know, base that off the skin color, you go, he's white because his skin is coated with the ashes of his dead family, so there's a little bit more than that to it.
I was going off being a Greek fella.
Yeah.
But, okay, you know the way it's like whenever people really wanted Idris Elba to be James Bond, and then everyone's like, every James Bond has been a white man in the past.
Cause it, trend lines, data points, etc.
But it's also like, yeah, Idris Elba would be a fucking awesome James Bond.
Sure,
he's one of the coolest dudes alive. Let's go. Anyway, I want the Christopher Judge cinematic universe of I want Tilk. I want Tilk back. I want him to be Kratos because he's really cool. And also, just a thing, alumni of Stargate make everything better. Because Christopher Judge becomes Kratos.
Yeah.
Amazing.
God War's fixed, yep.
Master Braytak, the father figure of Tilk, is Khadgar. And what do you know? Khadgar expansions are better than non-Khadgar expansions.
That's what I've learned most about Dragonflight.
Yeah, so I'm just pointing it out here, everybody, that, well, basically, Stargate alumni seem to make everything good.
Yeah, Stargate, of course they do. How the fuck do we get to this point? But...
I don't know, how do we get to this point?
The consciousness of Tyr.
Which then brought me to the Stargate, and you know, is Jim Kirk still Jim Kirk? Are we in? Of course, another great movie, if you want to wrap your head around that stuff, is The Prestige by Christopher Nolan. And if you want a funny little factoid about that, ever wanted to see David Bowie portray Nikola Tesla? What the fuck? There you go. It happened. Okay, as for what's next then, Khadgar was in WoD. Man, WoD would have been good if they just stuck with it, but
WoD
they
was
fucked
good.
it.
Yeah, WoD was good until it wasn't.
Yeah. And Khadgar was good in WoD.
Khadgar was great. He was the best part of it.
Yeah.
Second best part of it, sorry, Urel.
Half of it, obviously, Khadgar does not have hooves. Major problem with Khadgar, but he could always conjure some up if he really wanted to.
Yeah.
Or he could become a bird person.
You can become
Some
a bird.
people might be into that.
Yeah.
I had a really good point about something and it's gone. So
Good.
I'll just continue then by saying 10.1, we think Jaredine elders deep under the earth.
They're under there.
So
told us so.
Hey, there is nothing I fucking love more than a bizarre Hollow Earth conspiracy theory. In which case, going to doing another deep home, but it's not in an elemental plane or some shit. Yes, let's go.
And we can Dragon Ride, yes.
Yeah, like that. Could you imagine? The bit when like Gandalf and the Balrog are like just falling down the like the massive like sort of pit in Moria and the big shaft, and they splash into the water, and then they're like through into like all these other fucking weird under realms, and it's like the the scale of oh dear, it's not Christopher Lee, is it Peter Lee? I'm just thinking about the classic Tolkien artists and how they've portrayed those vast underground things. I mean, man, you just think about that from it would be so cool, right? It would be awesome. So I like that. We got the other two incarnates. We've also got non-dragon primalists, which is always fun because there's plenty of night elves and Tauren involved.
We'll talk about it when we get into the raid stuff, but like Daleth Ascended, the raid boss, is a really cool example of instant characterization, instant primalist stuff. It's very good.
Whee!
Yeah.
We popped two of her ads at the same time, and I'm just like, I think I'm going to be okay. And then I just see Pop, the gnome, just go whoosh. I'm like, we're fucked.
Yeah.
What a cool fight.
Well,
so far, this raid is absolutely slapping hard. And what, I've forgotten your name, but I will now call you Mr. Deadly Boss Mods, said on Twitter about, hey, this raid's actually really readable.
It's
obviously we're only playing a normal mode because our guild chills, just gets into the fights, right? And then we'll do heroic later. And thankfully, we all want to do heroic. We have a nice roster. I am actually beyond over the moon about that. We had such a fun time in our first raid night. But yeah, it really seems like the visibility, the readability of these boss fights is fantastic. The mechanics, they're very clear, they're very satisfying, they're very just obvious. We even get to have a Pokemon spider gym in the ice. That's very spooky. Good shit. As for other things, though, we've got AR938, Khazalgar, the dwarves that aren't dwarves, the Black Locust Old God.
Yeah, so I think all of these things will tie together in the end. I think it'll be the Jaredine Elders are a big thing about like how races evolve in Warcraft, right? And you go, okay, well, how does that actually work? There's a little talk about that, especially when the book talks about how the Khazalgar dwarves showed up out of nowhere despite not being dwarves. It's a little bit of throwing a little bit of doubt into the Curse of Flesh being like a thing, talking about how the advancements of the Black Empire, maybe one of the advancements of the Black Empire was they actually furthered evolution on Azeroth to be the way we know it. Maybe we're all children of Yogg-Saron in a way that the Titans don't want us to know about. And obviously, maybe they're kind of happy enough with, or they have plans to sort us out later on or something, and that's why they didn't really mind too much. So it's like all of this stuff will likely tie together really nicely. More or less, especially because, you've got that happening. We're sorting out all the Primal, the Jaredine, all the small stories around that, and then that ends by Ridicron. This is like my... basically my headcanon, right?
I did a video about some of these things. I talked about these themes, but I think you've actually done a fantastic job here of drawing these threads together in what would be a cohesive plot line that would tie all of the elements together, but not be a BFA of like this, and then this, and then this. So I think you've done a really, top job. The idea that because I was stuck with, Ridicron feels like the next guy we've got to kill, but hang on a second. They said we'd know probably the end boss by the end of the first tier.
Ridicron is definitely the end boss, and I can tell you exactly why.
You just spawned a video, my dude.
Yeah.
Oh wait, this is already a video.
Yeah, it's because well, actually, it's a different one now because I have to probably rewrite the one I have written to include Ridicron.
Wow.
Be more all-encompassing, but the idea is that a Ridicron, and I was wondering how they're going to take the proto-dragons or, the whole Razageth were like they were the same brood, Alex Draz and Razageth saying that. I was wondering how they're going to take that together, especially with dealing with Niltharion's legacy. And I think it's just going to be, Iridikron's going to be Deathwing 2. Not in a way that feels cliche, but in a way that feels, oh, the same thing happened here. The same thing happened here to a different antagonist. Oh, the old gods are up to their fucking tricky ways again, and they got Iridikron this time. Iridikron will be Galakron 2 because he's been shown to display the hunger. Iridikron will end up like eating the frost one, and then the fire one will go, shit, actually, well, because it's the way.
Hi, Matt Mercer. I'm your friend now.
Yeah, so it's in the way they talk in the direction in the cinematic, where the frost one breaks out first and goes, Razaketh, what have they done to you? And then the fire one comes out and goes, there will be vengeance for our sister. But then Iridikron comes out and goes, all who have betrayed dragonkind, the Titans, will suffer, there'll be vengeance for whatever else. Doesn't focus on the fact that his sister's lying dead in front of him. He's clearly focused on something else, which implies that the other two are more malleable, closer to the family idea. And if Iridikron goes completely off the fucking rails, they'll side with Alexstrasza more than they will. And it will ultimately be a weird rehashing of Dawn of the Aspects.
Actually,
but
I wanted
all
to
of
say...
that stuff will tie together.
That's exactly what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Right. Dragon lore. Mm-hmm. It's always been sort of neat, but also a bit scuffed for all of WoW's history. Right? Like, you know what I mean? It's been cool, but very messy. Yeah. And it's been told in places where people have no idea where it is. Like that Kaelagos video, the amount of people who just said, holy shit, I am glad I watched your Kaelagos video before I played Azure Span, because I would not have picked up on any of this. And I saw loads of people like, oh, Kaelagos just fucking mopey and lame. Because they didn't know where his character was coming from, so they couldn't really see his arc.
Years of pain,
and it makes me think, with this, they can, in a way, relitigate a lot of these ideas, remix a lot of this, modernize it, and essentially re-establish dragons as a core part of the Warcraft universe, and to do so in-game without having to rely on a bunch of books and shit.
Yeah.
And to some of us who are the most lore nuts, we're going to see this very transparently. But I also think that a lot of us who are big lore nuts are also like a little bit, you know, we like the dragon lore, but maybe we don't love it in the way there's other aspects of the WoW canon that we love. I think it's more people like the dragons because they were mysterious and cool and a bit standoffish in vanilla and, you know, TBC. TLDR, I think that they're basically going to make dragons work way better in WoW, and in doing so, they're also going to make a lot of the Titans and a lot of the old gods also work quite a bit better, because it's all going to be told through the grand stories of peoples and of characters. Yeah,
I mean, that's the thing where you immediately like to follow the plot to the logical conclusion. I imagine it'll be 9-1, or sorry, 9-1? Let's not think of that again. 10-1. We're underground, all this stuff happens, we come to some terms because Iridikron goes off the rails. Okay, how do we deal with Iridikron? This guy's too big. We can't fight him. We can't fight Galakron again. We still need to fix the Mother Oath Stone. What's wrong with the Mother Oath Stone? Okay, more ideas. What's wrong with the Mother Oath Stone? All the dragons aren't actually together again. Because obviously the primalists, the proto-dragons or whatever else. And the key word that here goes is dragonkind thrives. Or as the singer of the Endwalker song would say, thrives instead of thrives. Yeah, that's how it's pronounced. So the thing I'm thinking is the bronze aren't whole. The bronze aren't together as one Dragonflight because they're split between the bronze and the infinite. They're the ones who didn't have a nice emotional finish. The greens sort of like, yeah, we're fine. And obviously, you know, Sarah's back and Merthr's leading. And that's like the greens are fine and whole. The reds are fine and whole. The blues are fine and whole. The black dragons, they still have to sort themselves out, but they're like, it's, you know, they're mostly fine. It's just Sibelius and Rathion having a bit of a dick waving contest. So the only problem left is the bronze and the infinite not being together. So in order to restore the aspectal powers through the Mother Oath Stone, they will need to connect the bronze and the infinite together. We won't know that at the start, but it's the last plot thread of Dragonflight after we sort out the Gyardane, after we sort out the Primalists, and after Iridikron goes off the rails. So 10.2, will be us going and doing the bronze stuff, and that'll be like Chromie's gambit of stopping or doing whatever she can to stop Nosdormu becoming Murazond, but that'll probably send her into being an infinite first, and then she'll go be an infinite, and then everyone go, wait, hang on, maybe the infinites aren't all bad. Maybe there's like a line between here, maybe possibility is part of it, and there's not one true timeline. then that all works out and ends, and it goes, okay, sweet, beautiful. The Bronze and Infinite are together. We see whatever is in the Temporal Conflux, and then the Mother Earth Stone gets turned back on because all the dragons are together, happy now. All 6 flights, because this is more the generic stuff. If you look at the Valdrakken, this could just be the 6th spot is for the Valdrakken Accord, or could be for the Drakthir and the Draconid as they become less subservient to the dragons and more part of society. But you would imagine you're building something for the 5 Dragonflights. You'd put everything in groups of 5, but no, everything's in groups of 6. There's 6 ever. Obviously, that allows for better symmetry when you're building something, but it's very conspicuous. Very conspicuous. So I think that'll be the case. If we'll sort a lot out in 10-2, and then 10-3 will be us gearing up to get everyone together to finish off Iridikron in his like final turbo form, and that'll also involve coming to terms with the legacy of Notharion and what he did and whatever old gods are involved there. That's my personal thing, but a lot of that is like these are all of the hints that are put on the table, because I know Shendon's been asking all evening about Dralad and not living, and that was the whole thing of I think they'll abandon a little bit of that. Just because a lot of that was like specific knack undeady lore. I think they might kind of pull away from that being undeadish, as you know, Iridikron clearly being earth and stuff. I think they'll pull away a little bit of that, but like Dralad will be a thing. Maybe even Iridikron will go off the rails or whatever else and become Galakrond. Then they'll have Dralad as a point of, oh, look at that. The corruption under the Dragon Isles, which is the ancestral home of dragons, not just that of the Titan dragons. It's under assault by these underground forces. So what's better to unite a warring family than an external threat? So the external threat through the lens of Galakrond, through the lens of Iridikron, through the lens of Notharion, being the same source of all these problems.
Yeah.
And then they go, well, look, Fyrak, Iridikron ate your sister. And Alex Straz is like, well, Galakrond ate my brother and turned him into this evil thing. And then we've got this.
We can either try to eat each other or be friends.
Basically, it's like we need to stop the thing eating all of us. Let's go do that, and then we can work out our problems after and find some sort of resolution.
We'll band together against the one true threat to dragonkind, Vor.
Yeah, it's like because obviously as a Shandon points out, Dralad and the Not Living were mentioned in the Dragonskill expedition stuff. Yeah. Which I haven't actually done that yet, but I know that's happening. And then Wilpertinger's saying Galakrond was a decay incarnate. That would... I feel like that's a little bit too high concept. They probably have that running as like a theme underneath, but they want to get away from that, I imagine, just because I think if they start talking too much about all that, everyone will get pissed off. Yeah. Like, oh, decay and spirit, shut the fuck up. What about the elements? I think that's a little bit more likely. But yeah, that's more or less the... I'm sorry if I've just spoiled the whole expansion for you, I think that's more or less the more or less where I think it's taking based on what they've suggested so far. I don't know how the old god stuff will manifest, but it will be there either as a more core part of the expansion starting in 10.1 or as more of a background theme, but it'll definitely be there. Definitely be there. Oh dear.
Oh, good, absolutely. So, I mean, I think you've done a really fantastic job there. I'm sure there'll be a few twists and turns along the way, but that's...
I would hope so. I'd be really annoyed if I could just finish the rest of the plot in like one afternoon and go, fuck, shit.
So just put it on the chat GPT, we'll release the video, done.
Yeah, sorry about that, Blizzard Devs, I spoiled your expansion.